Good morning, children. Children, in the last class, we learned about the how small are the particles of the matter, children. Okay, how small are the particles of the matter? We learned that particles are made up of small, tiny particles. Okay, matter is made up of small, tiny particles called as the atoms. Whereas all these atoms combine together to form a molecule, and here molecules are combined together to form the matter, children. Okay, and already we have seen a few activities. I showed you that potassium permanganate, when it is placed in the water, normally it is diffusing. Okay, why it is diffusing? Why? Because here uh, the solid, whatever that is the potassium permanganate, is diffusing in the water. Why it is diffusing? Why? Because it is a very small tiny particles. Okay, tiny particles such that it is diffusing. Therefore all the matter, whatever that is there, that is around us, it is made up of small tiny particles. Okay, children. Next we see that okay, there exists a space between the molecules. There exists a space between the molecules. Normally, children, if you take a cup of water, and with the water, if we add the salt in it, what happens? Normally it will be diluting. Okay, salt will be dissolving in the water. Salt dissolves in the water. Okay, and in the same way, if we add more and more salt, okay, more and more salt, we are adding first 1 spoon of water in a glass of 1 spoon of salt in a glass of water, normally it dissolves. And here if we are adding some more to it, also it dissolves, children. Okay, normally why it is dissolving? Okay, our question is that why it is dissolving. That means here it is dissolving because as there is a space in between the molecules of the water, children. Okay, as there is a space in the space between the molecules of the water, the salt is dissolving. Okay, normally if we take a room, if all the students are coming into one room, okay, if in a classroom, if some 100 members are there, they can fit in the classroom. Okay, tightly more than 200 also they can fit. But if it is more than 200, up to 200 they can fit in the classroom, but more than 200 they cannot fit. Okay, children. Why? Because it becomes tight. It becomes tight. Okay, in the same way, all the that means the students who are coming into the class, they can exist only when there is a space in between the classroom. If there is no space, no person can be fit in the class. In the same way, normally if we are adding a spoon of salt or spoon of sugar in the water, the salt or the sugar get dissolved in the water, as there is a space in between the molecules of the water or the tea, children. Okay, normally when your mother prepares the tea, she add the sugar in the tea. Okay, at that time what happens? The sugar dissolves in the tea. Okay, why it is dissolving? Why? Because as there is a space in between the molecules of the tea. Okay, children, like that. Therefore here we say a concept or a property of the liquids or solids or gases. In solids, the space between them is very less. In the liquids, it is greater than the solids and less than the gases. But whereas in the gases, the space between them is very high. And here the rate of diffusion or the rate of dissolving increases by increasing its temperature. Okay, by increasing its temperature. Okay, children. When we increase the temperature, normally when your mother add the sugar in the cup of milk, okay, in the cup of milk or cup of tea, what happens? When it is boiling, when the water is boiling or when the milk is boiling, at that time your mother drops the sugar such that it dissolves faster. Okay, but whereas afterwards, after some of them, they will give sugar, they will give separately sugar, milk separate and sugar separate. At the time of separation of this milk and the sugar, what happens? Okay, it also dissolves, but we should stir it a number of times. And sometimes some of the the particles of the sugar, or the particles of the the solid particles, they may not dissolve completely. At the last, you may find that the sugar crystals can be seen over that. Okay, children. Therefore, that is due to what? By increasing the temperature. Therefore, the factors which affect the diffusion, the factors which affect the dissolving, okay, it depends on the temperature. The stirring, it depends on the temperature, depends on the stirring. The more you stir, the more it dissolves. The less you stir, the less you dissolve. Okay, it can be increased by increasing the temperature. Normally, if we can see hydrogen balloons, when we blow the balloons, when we blow the air into the balloons, they will fly very easily. Why? That we are blowing the hot air. Hot air, if we are blowing, they will be flying to a greater heights. Okay, children. Therefore, here temperature increases the rate of dissolving, the rate of diffusion. Diffusion can be taken place very easily. Okay, when the temperature is small. Normally, if you can see, if you spray the perfume in the wet, okay, in the wet room, it dissolves, it diffuses less when compared to the when it is sprayed in the warm room. Okay, when it is in the warm room, normally in the AC, if you spray the perfume, then it will not be easy, children. It will not be easy to diffuse easily. But whereas here in the hot air, in the dry air, if we spray the perfume, then it can reach to the greater places, long places. Therefore, by this, what we say, the rate of diffusion increases. The rate of diffusion increases. Okay, children. The rate of diffusion increases by increasing the. Okay, the rate of diffusion increases by increasing the temperature. The rate of diffusion increases by increasing the stirring. Okay, children, like that. And here, normally, if you can take ice block, if you take few ice pieces in the solid cup, okay, children, in the solid cup or in a glass tumbler, if you take the few ice blocks and if you heat it, it dissolves. Okay, it dissolves. The more you heat it, the more it dissolves. Again, if you if you are continuously heating that one, what happens? Water, whatever that is dissolved, it spreads into the water vapor. Okay, and here we can see there. Excuse me. Here we can see the solid particles. Okay, the solid particles, they are very closely packed. The liquid, they are somewhat loosely packed, and the gases we can see. The more the air space between them is very, very high, children. Okay, and here effect of temperature on the state of change. Here we can see that ice cubes taking in a glass tumbler, a glass rod, we are stirring it, and thermometer in order to check the temperature. And here when we are heating it, okay, the rate of diffusion takes place, and completely the more you give the heat, the more it dissolves, the more the ice cube will be dissolving, children. Okay, if not, it will be dissolving, but it takes a longer time. Okay, children, that's about the effect of temperature on the diffusion. Okay, the diffusion increases when we increase the temperature. The diffusion increases when we increase the stirring. Okay, children? Okay, this is about the rate of diffusion, children. Okay, the next we'll be learning in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.